After 3 years of having to produce the Portal to Ascension conference online, we have been waiting for this moment. The Portal to Ascension conference is returning live and in person. Join us at the Marina Village in San Diego, California, April 21st to 23rd, 2023. As massive shifts are happening on the planet and hidden truths are being uncovered, we are piecing together the fragmented parts of our existence and timeline. At Portal to Ascension, we are dedicated to full circle awareness of the truth of who we are and remembrance of our connection to the cosmos. This is showtime. There is no holding back. Now is the time for us to harmonize the frequencies and create unity and peace on Earth. We are deprogramming from an outdated matrix system, re-educating and remembering an inherent truth that connects us all. As we come together, we activate our truest potentials, individual gifts, and collective resolve. We are ushering a whole new reality that we know is possible and is waiting for us to embrace it. Join founder Neil Gore and the entire Portal to Ascension team with hosts Alan Steinfeld, Michelle Anderson, and Joan of Angels over these 3 days, April 21st to 23rd, 2023. We will experience musical performances by Larissa Stowe and the Shakti Tribe, Vox Angeles, Share the Light, Admiral Apollo, and Torquemji. This conference features incredible luminaries such as JJ and Desiree Hurtak, Adam Apollo, Carolyn Corey, Robert Schock, Linda Moulton Howe, Robert Edward Grant, Barbara Lamb, and many more. Register now at ascensionconference.com. It is time for humanity to awaken. All right, everybody. So keep moving along here. We're going to go ahead and bring on our next guest, our next speaker for today. And I am excited to be bringing on Nadi Hana, everybody. And Nadi has become a good friend. Over the last year, she made an appearance on a conference we did about 2 years ago. I think it was the Watkins conference. And she, right at the end, did a little 10-minute, 10-minute presentation or talk really on her experience at the event. And then after that, we just had some connections. And then eventually I made my way to Sedona to go and hang out with Alan Steinfeld. And Nadi was there, and I got to spend a couple of days at her house and just really connect with her. And now I hold her as a really close friend, and I'm excited to have her here, not only on this event, but doing much with Nadi in the near future. She's going to be on the Dolphins conference. She's going to be doing a solo presentation on Portal to Ascension. And we have 3 YouTube presentations of Nadi on our YouTube. Crop circles, actually maybe 2 crop circles and 1 on dolphin and whales. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you on, Nadi, and I'm going to read your bio here. All right, so Nadi Hana is an inspiring instructor, presenter, energy healer, and artist. Her professional and spiritual practices are dedicated to the expansion of her multidimensional consciousness. As a practitioner of personal transformation for nearly 25 years, she has cultivated a broad spectrum of skills and abilities to support our individual and collective awakening. Nadi achieved her master's degree at LCSW and worked as a psychotherapist for over 10 years. Her ability in support non-consensus reality experiences of all origins, psychotic episodes, psychedelic activation, psychic interdimensional and paranormal phenomena create a safe environment for people to experience transformation. Nadi is a transition specialist of planetary service committed to the evolutionary process of humanity by accessing our full potential as multidimensional beings. And she's completely in love with Sri Yantra. Nadi Hana, everybody. Hey, Nadi.
Hey, Neil.
Oh, there it is.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, hi, friend. I'm great. So good to be here and see you.
Good to see you too. So what are you sharing with us today?
I am going to share about crop circles today, but crop circles in light of consciousness and the expansion of our consciousness. And I want us to take a nice deep breath, because that was a tremendous amount of information from Rebecca and amazing lifetime dedication to information that's so important. And let's just take a breath and ground and shift gears. Maybe just centering yourself, orienting to the next phase here of our Star Beings conference. Because in addition to the density and the intensity of agendas, there's also the matched amount of light and love and unity consciousness happening. And so it's an incredible choice point, right? And what I love about crop circles is they are pure math, they are pure geometry. And so they reflect back to us where we are in our consciousness. And they are also a gift to the humanity, global collective. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. Yesterday, at the end of the call, Alan and Neil, and maybe a couple others were calling me an enthusiast, but obsessed with the crop circles and also with the Sri Yantra. And it's true, and in service of awakening and the expansion of our consciousness, right? Because I believe that's what the crop circles are here for. And the more we tune into them, the more we can access our higher capacities, our higher states of consciousness. That's why I'm passionate about it. There's a bunch of different avenues. I know all of us on this call are sharing our modalities and our histories and our contact experiences. And for me, the crop circles have been my contact experience. They have been such a gentle connection into my galactic community and into my multidimensional self, which is another reason that I love to share them. All you have to do is stare at them. And the magic and the technology is supporting our evolution in the most benign and user-friendly way, right? These are benevolent beings that are here to assist us. And I love to have the crop circles around to remind us of that. So I have a vision for today. I have a vision for the next 45 minutes. I'm not sure that I'll be able to make it, but I'm going to do my best to stay on target and on time. I would like to cover the three main areas of the crop circle phenomenon. One is the empirical data, the evidence for genuine crop circles, and talk a little bit about how they're made, who makes them, and what's extraordinary about them in terms of the biophysical anomalies that happen on the planet. Then I want to talk about the element of consciousness and how the crop circles can interface with our expansion, as I was saying, our development, our physiological, mental, and emotional well-being and spiritual well-being. And then I'd like to talk about the origins and galactic federations that are overseeing the project and the intelligence, the technology, and how the blueprints for all of the crop circles are held on the Arcturian mothership. Talk a little bit about star glyphs and channeled information about the crop circles. So I'm hoping to paint a broad brush of everything that they encompass. Know that this is a field of study that is decades long, and I'll get into the details in a minute. I also want to add a meditation at the end. I'm going to try a little 15-minute drop-in where we can have an experience going into a crop circle and seeing about the enlightening and high vibrational experience that we can receive. So lastly, before I get into the presentation, I want to give the overview that this is a transmission, right? The crop circles are working on our psyche, supporting our psyche, and all we have to do is look at them. So I'm going to share a bunch of information just in one ear and out the other. It's fascinating, but you don't have to hold on to it. Just take a receptive stance if that feels good for you, and know that you will receive the perfect amount of information. Crop circles can be very, very powerful. I invite you to put on your psychic seatbelt because you can have all sorts of experiences, maybe nothing, maybe profound bliss states, maybe you fall asleep, maybe a little agitation. Just know I'm going to roll through the crop circles fairly rapidly. So it sometimes feels too fast, but here we go. I'm going to go into the screen share and take it from the top, right? So we're talking about information that is encoded in the crop circles. And we'll talk about the full spectrum of that and what that means, because, as Rebecca was talking about, there's a wide range of information. And we'll talk about genuine crop circles and also the disinformation campaign, because it wouldn't be complete if we didn't include that conversation. So some of the details about the crop circles, empirical data, if you will. We love our empirical data. We love the biophysical anomalies that help us understand that this is a real phenomenon, that there is a tremendous amount of galactic intelligence being communicated to us through the crop circles. This is one of the first crop circles, if not the first. It happened in a field called Alton Barnes, and it made an imprint. I was realizing today that 1990, which is when they started, just a few years after the harmonic convergence, there's got to be some kind of correlation, but I never put it together before. And so we had this organized structure, this organized pattern that got our attention, and it was then somehow magically disseminated into the collective consciousness, right? Like, how did this little phenomenon in the southern counties of England begin to become a global phenomenon? And it did so because it was interacting with our collective understanding and consciousness of our reality, right? So we're looking at the 2D. We're looking at these basic formations. And I want to invite you to consider that they are alive. They are three-dimensional beings. They are multidimensional beings. And here's a little clip just to remind us of what that might look like. This is from the movie Thrive. About a decade ago, explaining how some of the crop circles are embodying lifetime and life force and energetics, and that they're transmitting incredible amounts of information. So just a sneak peek at a way to envision them as 3D, and to know that they're with us, they're supporting us, and they are interfacing with our planet as well. They are working with the consciousness of our Mother Earth and helping to assist in the ascension, assist in the uplift, right? And the expansion, because she needs support as well, given what we're doing. So a little bit of information. The crops happen during the summer months when there are crops. They happen in all types of fields. This is a poppy field. They happen in wheat and barley and rye and rapeseed and corn and trees, and everything can hold a crop circle. They happen all over the world, but they are concentrated in the lower counties of England, southern England. And that's because, I'm going to get that in there in a minute, but this is the slide that's right in front of us. So we'll go with the information that I've lined up. So you saw with the poppies that the field stays alive after the technology has created a crop circle, right? And you can see there is a big difference in the field when the plant has been manipulated and influenced by a technology versus when it has been stomped on with ropes and boards in an effort to debunk the true phenomenon. And so there are some ways to really interpret, to really test whether or not a crop circle has been created, whether it's a genuine crop circle or whether it's a man-made one. And those signs are the way the field shows up, right? This is a wheat crop that has been tramped down, and the curve of the wheat remains the same when it's standing and it falls down. And then you can see when there's a technology involved that it influences the shape and molecular elements of the plant so that they look different. However, they are not killed, right? In fact, studies show that seed propagation and nutritional value are amplified exponentially when they are part of a crop circle. It's really, there's just, I'm going to say like 5 minutes of evidence, but there's just 30 years of data that's been collected to demonstrate how there is a different phenomenon when they're man-made or when they're generated by advanced civilizations and technologies. There's two phenomena that I like to focus on that I think really hit it home, right? These are the things that to me feel sort of indisputable, although there's a ton of biophysical anomalies. right? Oh, it's 3:33. There's a ton of evidence, like the crystalline structure of the soil has been altered. There's electrostatic charge in the field. There are deposits of different um, minerals and elements, right, that are unexplainable. All sorts of evidence on and on. But I'm going to focus on these two. And I believe that as the disinformation campaign ramped up to debunk the amazing information that was being conveyed in the fields, that the lay of the crop, right, this incredible pattern that comes when the field is laid down, they upped the ante and they said, okay, try this, because that is much harder to do in a man-made circle, right? So these are fields that have like triple woven lay, and then we get into baskets and bow ties and wreaths and mounds, and this way of saying, check yourselves, like inviting us to really once again contemplate that these are messages that are here to support us in larger capacities. And so then you saw entire crops being filled and made with the lay, right? And this dimensionality that became overwhelmingly powerful. You weren't just sitting with the formation anymore. You were sitting with shading and dimensionality and entirely new shapes. What I'll talk about in a second is how much is in the crop circles that we can't see. I'm going to take a breath because I get so excited. And so the invitation, again, with understanding that they are alive, that they are multidimensional phenomena, is to start to consider the idea that so much more is going on, right? Like we are just discovering now that there are sonic frequencies left in the crop circle, right? So our technology is just now catching up. I'm going to keep myself on track. So the lay of the crop is one of the phenomenon that I think is really indisputable in terms of the originators. The phenomenon of ghost formations is the other one, where you just look at the crop and that it shows up in the next season. And how does that happen, right? You have the later in the season fields, we can call these dolphins, it's typically referred to that way. And then you have the next year where the pattern shows up in a way that obviously is there, but it's obscured by the next year's crop, right? This was an amazing shape from 2017, quite large. It's about 500 feet. And this one also next year, right? Evidence that perhaps somehow the structure of the soil or some type of technology that has influenced and manipulated the ground to then generate the same pattern the next year, right? So these two phenomena, and in addition, here's another one, the ghost formations, the the ghost formations and the lay of the crop, and then also sometimes the placement, right? The placement of the circles is almost crafty, right? It's part of the genius. It's part of the advanced intelligence that is working with us in the best way, in the most obvious way, where we might actually go, this is curious, right? And so in 1996, we started to figure out that the aerial view is the best way to find new crop circles. And so, you have all the helicopters and planes go out in the morning to scan and see if anything's happened. And then you have them seeing an empty field and then coming back hours, short moments later, and seeing a crop circle created probably in a matter of minutes right across from Stonehenge. You couldn't be signaling us any more strongly that it's not dudes out in the field with ropes and boards, right? The other thing is that there are, we're not just talking circles, we're talking intricately complex formations. And this is one of my favorites. And another aspect of genuine crop circles, so to speak, is the fact that they happen in different stages, right? And they're added onto. Now, that's not necessarily evidence of genuine circle, right? We can only know on the fields in particular what we're experiencing if there's additional technology influencing us. What I'm going to talk a little bit about later about how these different crops, regardless of who has made them, can be used for the upliftment and the expansion of our psyche. There's some gems coming down the pike. I'm not going to go into them right now. So first, second, and third aspects of this circle phenomenon, and well, I should say formation. And I've had a lot of people talk about how this is light code, right? This is multidimensional communication, blipping out of time space, where certain elements are visible to us at certain times and reflect our consciousness. And the other thing is that if you'd like to believe that this is made by ropes and boards, you can do that. There is no ultimate authority, right? We have some channeled information, but that's as close as we get. And so we get to decide what this code means, right? I got a little obsessed with it for a while. I do like to share my experience woven throughout this. I had to draw it. I have no idea how that impacted me. I just know that I'm here in Sedona talking to you about crop circles. And so I believe it led to my expansion and my joy and living an incredible life of service to the transition of humanity into the next dimensional consciousness. Well, there's that. So on and on, examples of communication that we can learn from, right? That we can decipher, right? This is a little clip from Contact. It's a 1-minute clip, but this encompasses what's happening. The audio is a little hard, sorry.
Is the key to decoding it. Within the layering of the matrix, we have these basic equations. So with this very elementary foundation, they've given us a kind of general scientific vocabulary. We now have the symbols for true and false.
This was the key, to put it simply, that allowed us to decipher their language for physics, geometry, chemistry, and X-ray analysis.
Yes, and when we apply this to the rest of the message, we find this.
Those look like engineering schematics, almost like blueprints.
Right. So that is analogous to what's happening in the crop circles, right? We are learning to decode them for the information that is being given to us from advanced technologies. I'll go into a little bit more and substantiate that claim. But that movie, Contact, was made, I think I should date that, but like early 90s, I think it's one of my all-time favorites. But maybe that was in direct connection with the crop circle phenomenon. It was written by Carl Sagan, who had sent out the message in the 70s that was responded to through the crop circle phenomenon. Have to stay on target. So you can see here, this is a great example of some of the, not invisible, but the underlying geometry that is in the crop circles. And it can be decoded, much like in the message, in the video in Contact. It can be decoded for many different purposes, right? The geometries they are the universal language of math. They contain equations. They contain advanced intelligence that we barely have the ability to decode, right? And what I want to shift into is how we are decoding that, right? Like how we are starting to learn that they are able to communicate on advanced levels. And so throughout the phenomenon, we began to learn that we could talk with them, right? We could interface with the consciousness that was creating them. We're talking about off planet, that we could connect with not necessarily the ships, not necessarily the civilizations, but that we could communicate telepathically with the benevolent sources that were creating these. And so one of the great examples is this crop circle. And it is this was the response of a molecular physicist who went to England to see the crop circles, and he asked for an example of magnetic propulsion, right? And so this was literally the call and response, right? You have these two polar opposites of positive and negative, generating frequencies, and there's actually a little ship in the middle, like demonstrating the technology that would be using magnetic propulsion. So we began to understand that we could influence and affect and communicate. And at the same time, people were having tremendous experiences with opening their consciousness to spiritual guidance, to channeled information. People were having spontaneous remissions and healings when they would go into the crop circles. And that was because of this larger energetic influence that was interfacing with consciousness. And not only collectively, but moving in a unique individual physiology, moving in a way that our unique system needed to heal, to open, to activate, to expand, right? It's a collective energy and assist, but it's also uniquely designed for us, which is part of the advanced technology. So, one of the things we've discovered, like we're just sort of slow to come on board, but we've discovered that the circles in the genuine formations, they leave sonic frequencies. They leave basically what would be a binaural beats in the crop circle. And what it does is it aligns the hemispheres of our brain, right? So that you're actually that's part of what creates the altered state of consciousness, right? And that allows us to align with our guidance, to align with other civilizations and other star systems that are on different frequencies, right? You can actually step into a crop circle and experience a different dimensional reality that has been imprinted, that has been encoded, that is accessed through our heart, right? We step from this linear mind, rational, structured, I could go on, dimensional reality into a heart-centered, more tapped to universal consciousness dimension. And so people leave crop circles, people get addicted to them, right? The experiences are so activating. We're talking about, we've heard a lot over the conference about activating our DNA. All you got to do is step into a crop circle, and then it can happen, right? Because of the technology. And I want to say, you don't necessarily have to step into them. I've never been to one. I work with them non-locally because we're talking about technology that works beyond time and space, right? This one in particular, like I said, I do like to use myself as an example so that if something happens for everyone, if you have the flip switched and you're turned on and you just get obsessed about them. This one was a response to me asking if a activation for myself had been true, right? I had been told that I was the commander of an armada, and I had a hard time getting behind that. And I asked in the dream state, this crop circle completely appeared to me and started communicating to me, and I got completely obsessed with it. And I had to talk to people about it. I had to have booths and in metaphysical fairs and give the crop circles away so that people could maybe have their own activation. And boy, this one really is a big reveal, isn't it? And it's part of why I'm here today, because the shift has been so profound. I've been really able to access my multidimensional consciousness, to access the higher aspects of myself, to visit my ship, to go on that armada, and to visit other aspects of myself in different planetary systems, in different galaxies, and really help my consciousness contribute more to the upliftments of this planet, but also others, right? The galaxy, the universe, I'm not exaggerating. Circles can really take you to next level of your life path. So when I talk, let me see if I'm staying on time here, because now I have all sorts of not even numbers and time. So this crop circle also, I was really drawn to this one. I ended up making a huge montage of the circles. And, a lot of times you can't understand it. You're just drawn to it. And this one looks like some sort of home place that I know. And this was when I was discovering the new reveal that we had sonic frequencies in the crop circles. And I had all my crop circles on a screensaver. I'm definitely proving the obsessed commentary. I had them all on a screensaver. I was just watching it, kind of zoning out, and I had my Spotify going. And Spotify decided that I would like to hear theta binaural beats, right? And the binaural beats started syncing up with the way the screensaver was going, and I just about lost it. And I said, okay, I need to do a crop circle meditation with binaural beats, get the hemisync going on, open up for the communication. So I went online and I started looking for theta videos, right? I started looking for theta realms, theta binaural beats that I could partner with. Now, if you're not looking at this and freaking out, I don't know what to say, because this was one of the astonishing synchronicities. This is a phenomenon that happens because you're starting to tap into higher realms. You're starting to tap into synchronicities and deja vu and all of the ways that we talk about bridging the fifth dimension and the third dimension. So the crop circles are a direct link with how to access that. I might go a minute over. I'm trying. So,
Nadi, you have like over 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, I know, but I got a lot to do.
You can do 15 more minutes. How about that? 5
Okay,
minutes.
all right, 15 more. No, I thought I had. Do I not have 20? Do I not go to 410?
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, because we're running behind. Go for it.
Oh, Neil, come on now. Nobody needs that. All right. So, love you. So we've got this interface with consciousness, right? And then I want to shift into the advanced civilizations, right? And how to connect with the gift from them of this technology. Now, this is one of the crop circles. This is one of my favorite. Went on a whole art binge, had an art show, and this was this will be one of the crop circles in our meditation, right? So we're going to get to this meditation at the end. And this is another one. We're going to sit with some of the crop circles. I'm going to ask you to choose and resonate with one of them. You're going to have a couple of choices, but there's 6 of them, and these are 2 of them that have really been life-changing. I've said that before in the presentation, but I find it very useful to sit with some of these shapes to access and connect with our ships, other aspects of ourselves that have created the crop circles. So we're going to do that in a couple of minutes. What I want to talk about, though, is that many channels, many people have tuned into the crop circles and received information. In this example, this is information channeled from Judith Moore in the book Crop Circles Revealed that she wrote with Barbara Lamb. This book changed my life because the channeled information is what I resonate with in terms of the crop circles. And what she got that this crop circle is about, I mean, that the shading and the pyramidal structures and the fractalization is just so amazing in that. It also had an opposite partner where the highlighted areas were darkened, complementary. And she said that this crop circle unlocks key time portals, facilitating a continuum for time travel. This is the template for the mathematical formula that is necessary for unlocking and opening the 13th door in time. The missing mathematical formula or link code for the successful opening of this wormhole and this door of destiny is contained within this crop circle. The link code can be opened when you tap into it. So all sorts of incredible, again, invisible information, right? Star codes, messages, activations, geometries. You can kind of obviously see the pyramidal structure and the intelligence contained in here, right? Pyramid technology, we barely tapped that. And all of the invisible information that is accessible when we open to it, right? And there's some people, some channels that have really received quite a bit of information. This is an artist called Janosch, and he has a art collection called Sacred Geometry. And I was drawn to it and I thought, oh, that's cool, sacred geometry. And it was only until I started studying crop circles, you can see the adaptation here, right? It was only when I started studying the crop circles that I realized what he was doing with these amazing cards. And it's not just the cards and the arts. What he's done is on the backside is an encoded interpretation of it that you can then he gives you tracing paper in this little kit, and you can put it on top and trace over the image, the code, and thereby activating that aspect of consciousness, right? That practice, right? Transition or tuning into the third wave of volunteers, right? Dolores Cannon, bringing her in, and you can see his interpretations and I think it's color therapy as well. But he's got the planet in here, right? Reminding us of the planetary service that the crop circles are here for. It really is a collective effort. And whether it's this modality or your spiritual practice or anything that you're working to connect with yourself and to connect with unity consciousness, the urgency about doing it, right? Connecting, remembering yourself, recognizing the patterns, and understanding the larger picture, the larger process of what's happening. And so, because it's a global scale, because this is happening on a global level, it's available to everyone, right? And you can tune in or not. It's the choice is yours. And I'll speak for a minute about the issue of who makes them and why and how, right? 3 sentences on each. This is nuts. So yesterday, Adam was talking about in his incredible presentation, and he talked about the fact that with the type of technology that is available out there and right here, that very easily you could vibrate molecules with holographic laser lights, right? You could vibrate molecules, resulting very easily in a specific pattern, right? This is a 5th dimensional hyper dodecagon, I think. I think there's 10 sides, which would be a dodecagon, and then the fractalizing inward and fractalizing outward is just incredible. And the precision and the lay, right, kind of proves all of the sort of tantalizing up level of the technology. But it's also, we're also talking about plasma technology and microwave and sonic and the use of the easy technologies, right? We have the hard ones. We have the blundering, dense fossil fuel attempts that, would just not be able to replicate some of these patterns. I say that, but there are some very sophisticated patterns, and it has been done. And it sometimes is, from a picture like this, hard to tell what is man-made, what is government-made, or what is genuine. It's much easier on the ground when you can feel the electrostatic charge or sense the theta sonic frequencies, right, or see some of the geometries. What I learned from Judith Moore, and she, if I didn't mention it, she channels Leolin, who is a keeper of the records of Ra. What they said is that the Federation is as such, it would not initiate this program if they did not have a way to work with humans that would attempt to debunk it, right? And as well as governments. So they have the ability to go into any kind of man-made circle that might have either negative or nefarious or not high vibes encoded in them. They can go in and restructure the template of the crop circle, and they can emanate, they can use them regardless of who makes them to then emanate activations to humanity, right? So it's a little sneaky. Maybe you got a soul contract, somebody comes in, they think they're debunking, actually they're contributing to the upliftment, to the activation of our consciousness. So that was an important point for me that helped me get behind, and fully on board with the idea that these are here to serve us, that these are here to help us, right? And so we're going to drop in to a little meditation. It really is just going to be a brief one, and then we'll come out. We're going to choose a crop circle. We're going to take some breaths with it, and then we're going to imagine ourselves journeying down to the crop circle and having a little communication with it. So I want to invite you to choose one crop circle and tune into it and take some nice deep breaths with it, right? Focusing on one circle, choosing with your intuition, resonating with one in particular. I know it's hard, but choose one circle and start to focus on it, deepening your breath and really becoming present at the moment, shifting from the information into a embodied presence with the crop circle. Take some nice deep breaths together. Taking a moment to be deeply with your crop circle. begin to allow yourself to feel the crop circle, feel the alive being that it is. Every breath, letting yourself relax a little more deeply into the surface, supporting you. Shifting from all of the mental information into your body, into the feeling experience, in your exchange with this crop circle. Bringing your third eye online and connecting with the crop circle from all of your energetic bodies, your sensory system, bringing your psychic awareness online and connecting on multiple levels with the crop circle you resonate with. Knowing that this formation is here for you, communicating love and light and the highest divine intelligence for you and your expansion. With a nice deep breath, feeling into an energy and a perspective of receptivity. Acknowledging that this crop circle has a transmission for you. Taking a nice deep breath into that receptivity. Relaxing even more deeply, begin to narrow your focus and transport your consciousness to that crop circle. Beyond space and time, imagine you can stand in the crop circle, feeling the energetics that you are connecting. Perhaps closing your eyes and beginning to sense the energetics of the crop circle. And if it's comfortable for you, envisioning yourself sitting down or laying down on the field, on the crop, on the earth. With every breath, letting yourself relax into this beautiful formation that is holding you, that is communicating with you. Allowing yourself to be held by the earth, to be held by this extraordinary pattern, to connect on the deepest levels of yourself with this divine communication. Relaxing with every breath, moving into your sensory system. Taking a deep, full breath into your heart, knowing that you are connected to the earth, to your body, to this crop circle, through the feelings of love and appreciation for the opportunity. As you are laying and feeling and sensing, you become aware of this particular circle maker. You become aware of another aspect of you, viewing the circle just as you are laying in the circle. And this other aspect of you may have form. It may be pure consciousness. It is clearly communicating with you through your heart, through telepathic thought blocks. So take a deep breath into your pure consciousness, connecting through your heart. You can connect with the other aspect of you, this off-planet aspect of you that created this crop circle to communicate with the third dimension of you. Breathing into the awareness that this has been a communication, that it serves to connect you on this earth plane and you off in this earth plane on a different dimensional level. You are connecting with you through this formation that was made for you to remember. And you are off planet, multi-dimensional self. Feel the connection of you and all the yous that are supported by this crop circle. Feel how this formation was designed for you to expand your understanding of why you came to this planet. Take a deep breath into your hearts, connecting with the other aspect of you, creator of this crop circle, together. And if it's comfortable for you to ask, perhaps send in your consciousness a request for any information that would help you on your journey on the planet. Asking your future self, your other self, your higher self that is here right now, all the time, everywhere. Asking for assistance in receiving any type of intelligence or message that comes through for your greatest and highest good. The experience and any information into the core of your being, into your cellular structure, into your physical form, into your non-physical form and your sensory system. Absorbing the experience of you communicating to you through this crop circle formation. Taking a deep breath, beginning to remember your body. Knowing that you have received the perfect amount of intelligence and information for you and your expansion. Taking a deep breath in and trusting that that information will appear to you, arrive for you, and make itself known in the perfect way, in the kindest, most beautifully activating way that only you would do for you. few more deep breaths into your body, bringing your awareness back to the field of the formation you resonate with. Connecting with your physical form, bringing your consciousness back to the Ultimate Star Beings Conference in your Earth home, in your Earth body. Perhaps wiggling your fingers and toes to remind you that you do have a body here on this planet, and that you now have more information to proceed with your journey. And opening your eyes and taking one more glance at your crop circle that you, in another aspect of yourself, have created to communicate with yourself on this planet, to share information for your activation. One more deep breath as we transition back into the shared screen. This is a opportunity to transform yourself. I hope my audio was clear the whole time. I'm sure you would have popped in if it wasn't. Was it good, Neil?
It was good for me. I think for you playing some music in the background, right?
Yeah, did it take it over?
The music only came out when you spoke. So the music was kind of just like on top of your voice a bit, but I heard everything fine. Yeah.
Well, I hope it worked out. This is the
Oh,
point
that was good.
in a call where we would talk about our experience and share the amazing, or if there were amazing communications. Sorry that the audio was glitchy. And that's part of what I love to do, is get people together and talk about their off-planet experiences, their multidimensional selves. And I'm so grateful to be here today, Neil, to offer that meditation and just all the information about the crop circles and how they can help us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Nadi. Thank you for taking us on that journey. And I really, really love your passion for all this stuff. It's incredible. And I mean, the crop circles, every now and then I have to stop to think about them, like every 6 months or so. I'm just like, there's a tangible experience of multidimensionality on Earth. And humanity is so much in delusion that we completely ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just right there. All the evidence that you actually outlined, plus so much more that just suggests that it's not done by any conventional means or somebody going in there. And I'm hoping that we're going to move towards understanding and integrating these messages in our future.
Well,
Yeah.
Neil, when we go to England, we'll go to some crop circles because
Yes.
they're right near Glastonbury, and it's phenomenal to stand in one. And they're all different. We'll take you with us, Nadi. They're all a different vibration. The first one I ever went into, I got really dizzy. And then I went into the 888 one on August 8th, 2008. I felt this grounding Kundalini. So they're not as much. Why is that, Nadi? Why have they stopped as being as much as they were before 2012?
I don't know. My guess is I think some of the presenters have talked about like our communication with, are they losing faith in us? I don't think they are, but I think they're realizing that perhaps I don't want to say the effort was missed, but I really don't have an answer for it. I do know there are less and less genuine crop circles. So
it could even be that the codes have been outlined, right? Like maybe there were energetic codes for the Earth, and it's almost like they're tattoos for Earth.
Right, and they stay there, right? That's another thing we can't really see beyond. But one of the old timers from the movement, right, who was here since the 90s, he used to say there's two phenomenon with the crop circles. One is that they occur. The other is that not everybody is freaking out about them, you know. So
I agree 100%.
yeah.
Like
Nadi,
UFOs.
I just want to I just want to jump in here really quick and just say that presentation knocked my socks off. I was, I'm trying to be multidimensional today with a party coming and people are all coming to my house, and I'm going to introduce the next two people. And Nadi, my podcast partner, Eric Rankin, who is known for doing the sonic geometry video series, he's coming over. I was watching your presentation, videotaping it from my phone to my computer, sending him little clips and saying, you have to meet this woman, because like you, Alan, he had quite an experience with the crop circle and was like getting downloads and communicating with it, with, especially because of the frequency and the sound component that he's been exposed to. And then as a fluke, he got invited to fly over there, and the same crop circle that was communicating with him was there. I can't tell his story for him, but it really had a great impact on me. And I can't thank you enough for what you're bringing through. And these are encodements for, I think, many of the people that were drawn to this conference and that will be drawn even in the future. Neil, are you offering this as a package once people start talking about it was amazing? Can people who didn't register find a way to get the information?
Yeah, it's going to be available forever for everyone.
I had a feeling. So lots of overlaps and weaving, and just thank you for your work and being steadfast in your knowing, Nadi. You brought us really you brought us over the top, and I love the way that you transitioned us from some of the harder edges that we were hearing about that I think need to be spoken of. That presentation was incredible as well. And I just really appreciated the way you transitioned us over to this information. So thank you.
Hey,
Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate that. And Eric has come up in my reality several times in the last couple of days. So I'm sure that rendezvous is imminent.
yeah.
Goosebumps head to toe, and I'm going to arrange it for you today. So text me, to do a direct message of your phone number, and I'll make sure he contacts you.
Well, I think Eric is a genius between sacred geometry and sound, and these circles are actually sound harmonics. You can translate them into sound. So I'm curious about what Eric would have to say about these circles in terms of sound harmonics.
Yeah, he will have a lot to weigh in on, I'm sure. And we'll definitely have you on Awakening Code Radio. Nadi, I think that was just an incredible presentation. But I do feel that there's a weaving that's taking place where people are being connected for a reason, because together everyone achieves more. Like I keep saying, like this is it. And Alan, I just want to live through you sometimes. You have had the most mystical, magical, you have been at every place that has been activated.
There's more for us, Michelle, Nadi, Neil. We're just discovering the unknown, and mystery is awakening. So that's our job. That's why we're here. We're here to investigate those mystical, magical places that have yet to be understood by the mainstream. Yeah, Nadi.
Yeah, I just want to connect on one more thing, and I would love to say how people can find me really quick before we move on, because Michelle, I also, sacred geometry is my passion. The Sri Yantra behind me, I made this over the winter. I draw it. I have many in my house, over 25, and I love to teach people how to draw the Sri Yantra and all the other sacred geometries, right? The crop circle, the sacred geometry, they're these gentle activation entry points, right? So I have an 8-module course online through Star Family Wisdom, which is Jenna Layden's beautiful organization. And you can learn to draw, get some information. They go hand in hand. I don't want you just learning to draw. You got to learn about how these are universal principles, and patterns that are here to help. And then I host calls on light language and interspecies communication with whales and dolphins, and near-death experiences, and all sorts of different avenues for us to tap into who we really are and our multidimensionality. So my website is Galactic Rose Geometry. I'm sure we'll put it in the chat. And got my website up and going, got the YouTube videos, and I would love to connect. I look forward to everybody who got lit up and wants to talk more about this. It's my passion. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just gave me more keys and codes right there in that little bit. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, The Last Mimsy.
The Shri, all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my husband once said, if you could be anyone, how did he say it? Who's your oversoul or something? I was like, what are you talking about? And then my husband like, he goes, it took you long enough when I said the little girl in The Last Mimsy. That's like who I relate the most with,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally. And when I saw that movie with my family, we sat in the front row and I was sobbing, just sobbing. Yeah. And my daughter's like, Mom, this is a kid's movie. What's going on with you? And I'm like, I can't explain it.
I know.
So,
me too.
yes.
Me too, because it's the whole archetype of like the kids creating, and tapping into themselves, and then the scientists and everybody shutting them down. And oh, sorry, don't mean to spoil it, but yeah, I highly recommend that one. I know we have to go because there's a lot more going on, but it's been wonderful to be with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nadi, if you can come to England next year with us in August, you should come visit us.
I plan on it. Alan's been talking it up for like years, so you bet. Let's do it.
Yeah. Right.
We could do a little mini crop circle tour while we're over
that's
there.
what we're thinking. Yeah, let's figure that out.
And Eric.
Sounds great. The movie was The Last Mimsy. Somebody just asked, and I'm sure I'll see you all again. Neil, I love you. Alan, so good to see you. And
Nadi,
later,
save a place for me, Nadi and Sedona, okay?
We got your room made up, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Nadi.